What's up, Shorty?
Hey girl.
Hey, girl.
I was
Hey.
trying to do it from my computer, but it wasn't working. So
Girl, you
we
see
just
what
gonna
I'm
hope
talking
no
about?
calls come in.
It's okay. The devices be doing their own thing sometimes. We really be needing them to
They
work. I totally
do.
get it.
And let me just put my do not disturb on so nobody disturbs
I
me.
know, right? I would definitely be having to turn mine on, girl, because it'll say such as this device is no longer in use. Let somebody text you, call you, or something, and
Yeah.
it'll go.
I'm like, I'm busy. So
Yes, because we hey, Krystal, girl, it feels like it's been forever. Even
it
though,
has.
well, I guess for a personal conversation, because we do definitely keep up with each other on the socials. That's for sure.
We do. We do.
But oh my goodness! First of all, thank you for being here and on time. So grateful that you're able to join us today on the Melanin Mic.
Of course.
What? Oh, and so ready to spark the conversation. So, since we already here, we can already go ahead and get stuff popping. So
Yeah.
again, thank you for taking time out of your day to be a guest with us here. I definitely feel like, ending February and on a topic, about making yourself feel good. And I know that, sometimes that some people need a little extra help in that department. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is also a very controversial subject because there are so many negative connotations around medicinal Mary Jane. So I definitely wanted to, bring somebody on that was fluent in that particular language because we know a lot of Black people speak, the recreational side of it, but we want to we want to actually know
Yeah.
what we're putting into our bodies.
Of course.
So, yes. So first things first, here on the Melody Mic, we would like to know what did you do to love on somebody today?
Well, I am now an employee at OSU. So I made sure that one of my patients was definitely taken care of. She was sick, feeling bad. I was like, you ain't got to worry about it because I'm going to make sure that you're good. Made sure went above and beyond and made sure her request was taken care of. And she was like, you know what? I really appreciate you because a lot of people don't really care about that. They'll be like, oh, I'll just send a message or something. But she gave me my credit for it. So I feel like that. And also loving on myself and being
Amen.
here.
Amen. Again, we appreciate that. But can you kind of elaborate? Are you in like the physical therapy there at OSU?
No, so like I'm probably at the bottom because, starting just kind of getting my feet wet into the healthcare, the
That's okay.
actual healthcare side of
Baby
things.
steps
Yes,
forward. Hello.
but they're one of the only companies that allow you not to have full blown like, medical experience. So, they took a chance on me. They liked my interview by the customer
Hello.
service, the skills that I had, and so now I'm just starting from the bottom and learning my way up.
That's what's
So.
up. That's what's up. And I feel like that actually helps build characters too because once you do get into a position of like leadership, you can be like, I've been there, I've done this, I know what's up with
Hmm.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that's amazing. I guess for me, I spent some time with my in-laws today, so that was
Oh,
fun. We
okay.
are yeah, we're in the process of redecorating our house, so they came over to help us
Okay.
with some stuff around the house, and so we had us a good little time today. And we still got so much more to do even after I get off of this because I guess if you know, you're never done. There's always like more pieces that you
Yeah.
find. You're always shopping for the house, y'all.
Always.
It's crazy, but yeah, we're in the middle of renovation, so they came over to help us out there and put some stuff together because I was not gonna be over there hooking up stuff and all that. So yeah, so
You're like,
my
thanks for the help.
hello, he came over with his toolkit and everything. Him and Babe was, on it, and yeah, me and
Nice.
Moms was sitting there regulating as we should.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
Thank,
Happy for you.
thank you, thank you. So, can you tell us a bit about Krystal Nichols, the medical Mary Jane enthusiast? To start, can you give us a little background about your history prior to the current job or well, I guess it's not current, but the job that you had at Pura and how you got into the actual enthusiast role?
Okay. So of course I came here from Dallas and I kind of had idea of what I wanted to do. And if anybody's on here that knows me, knows that that was probably the step that was going to happen. Uh, but you know, I took a leap, you know, and before this I was at UPS, you know, I was just import brokerage, and you know, before that was customer care, call centers, you know, and I was just tired of at that point working for the man. So
Hello.
I was like, you know, there's an avenue out here. I might as well just go ahead and see how that's about. And first time when I got out here before Pura, it was in a little small city by where my dad lives because I had to do what I had to do.
Hmm.
And it was racist, but you know, that's another subject. Uh, you know, I made sure that I got a little bit experience that I got from there. But then once I got to Tulsa, that's when I applied for Pura, and that was my home. You know, that's I loved everything about that. I was a bud, well, it's called bud tender, so bartender
Okay.
called bud tender. So I started there, kind of worked my way up to try to learn all the different things about medical marijuana and just you know what it entails, and outside of just smoking it or you know getting high or whatever. And
Right.
starting from that, went from you know bartender all the way up to assistant manager. I was able to learn the ins and outs of behind the scenes as well. So you know, it definitely I definitely learned some skill there. You know, even though it's a dispensary and you know the medical side of things, just working itself was definitely something that I can take with me into each jobs, being a leader, being a manager, and you know just being able to teach people and train people on the same things that I'm interested in and what they need to learn. So,
Right. So, as you said it before, there is a very interesting connotation around people who participate in Mary Jane activities. A
mhm.
lot of them being, that it can make you lazy, it can slow you down.
Right.
There's so many negative, like I said, things that people like to say about people who are
Hmm.
engaged in that activity. So, as you said, you were a doing it recreationally before prior to getting to Oklahoma. Can you
Hmm.
tell me what do you feel like the difference was between being an everyday smoker to when you became educated on what exactly you were smoking?
Yeah, I mean, before that I was just trying to get high. I mean, honestly, like there was no, you know,
Right.
I mean, there was definitely something in there because I mean, I don't know if you know, but I have a lot of pain. So, like I had back pain since I was 21 and at the time, you know, that was something that was able to relax me to get me to a point where I wasn't so, you know, hurting
Mhm.
or just in a bad mood or depressed. But I didn't really look at it in a medical way. I kind of looked at it as something to just kind of keep me sane.
Right.
And then once I got to the medical part of it, I understood kind of why I was drawn to that
Hmm.
and just the benefits that come from the medical side of things. And yes, you can be lazy, you can be unproductive, but you have to know what you're putting inside, or you know, if it's an upper, if it's a downer, if it's
Right.
what what we call terpenes, what those are pretty much entail inside of that particular strain or edible or anything of that nature. That's pretty much what you would look for based off of what you have. So that's something that I kind of did a whole bunch of research on for just myself personally, just
Mhm.
because, you know, I have a lot of stuff going on. And then that was something I was able to relay to my patients. And, you know, that's what keeps them coming back is somebody that's actually medicate, you know, medically
Right.
into it instead of it just being, oh, this is the highest THC, you know, you're going to get blown, you know, and it's
Right.
not
You're
even,
gonna fit
yeah, like,
it.
but they're like, so what is it going to do for my headaches? You know, what is it going
Hello.
to do for my glaucoma? What is it going to do for my Crohn's disease? Because it's a lot of that out here, you know. And
Hmm.
also being in Oklahoma, this is a type of state where pain pills were used very frequently and almost
Hmm.
as like candy. So they
Hmm.
had to take that away.
Hmm.
So a lot of the times people are looking for something else to help their pain, you know, and that's pretty much why they brought in the medical marijuana. It's not so much addicting as pain pills can be, but also it helps people. So,
Okay. So I guess to also clarify on, like I said, a stigma that's out there. Like you said, you can have your recreational marijuana, but you can also have, like, as they're calling it, the medical side of it. Is there really a difference in like the DNA or the chemical, I guess, combustion of it, or is it just like you said, the type of strains that people are using that's creating these uh, re- releasing effects?
So here they test it, right? So they test to see what's inside of it, and you have to have that information before you can sell it.
Mm.
So me being the purchasing manager at the time, I was able to look into the testings and see, this includes this, and also knowing your patient clientele, knowing the people that come in, what a lot of people are looking for. You do have the ones that are, again, with the stigma of just getting high, which that's
Right.
fine. You're going to
Right.
have that.
That's okay.
But being knowledgeable of the sicknesses or illnesses that people will ask about that come in, it's always based off of that testing. And sometimes the testing's not always right, which is something that's another thing that's going on here in Oklahoma. But most of the times it is, right? So it's like we kind of go off of that. And, for those people that are actually wanting it for the medical side of things, we had a binder.
Mm.
We would have different testings. We would have all the information you would need on it, what it helps for, what it's for this. So just so that way people felt like we actually cared in that stigma of things.
Mm-hmm.
But in regards to recreational, it's different. I mean, that's Colorado, that's California. People are just trying to, enjoy it, not trying to medically do it, so it's really just trying to balance the two or try to figure out which one you need. So
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, as far as would you feel like that's one of the benefits of being like a dispensary versus a street pharmacist?
yeah, that's definitely the biggest benefit of it's just actually wanting to do that because again, I was a manager. I had people that would come in, I would interview or hire, and they're looking for a different type of stigma than what our dispensary had, right? So
Right.
we were a boutique one. We wanted to have all of that medical stuff in there, but also have good vibes. We had the events like you saw. We had
Mm-hmm.
the different things like that to make it welcoming, but medically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just really dependent on what you're looking for. It's the main
Right.
thing.
So being in so you're being in the state that, like you said, it allows for a medical.
Sorry,
Oh, you're fine.
girl, drop the phone. Okay, I'm here. All right.
So being in the state that allows for medical marijuana use, like I said, I guess y'all often have events that are public or places that you can go to actually have people come shop with you all.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like there are people in your state or in your area who disapprove of what you all do or who prefer like for it to not be a legal state?
Oh yeah. So I'm sure everyone's aware of the Nextdoor app. So I would tell you that's the main place I see it, but it's everywhere. It's people that will drive by and say why there's so many dispensaries. And just fun fact, Oklahoma has the most dispensaries in the country.
Really?
So yeah, like they just made it easy for people to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that a lot of people in Oklahoma don't like that are not into marijuana or medically. You see it a lot, or you see like and we had the recreational. They were trying to make it recreational, and a lot of people voted against it. And
Mm-hmm.
majority of that was people that were outside of the world,
Right.
but also people that were inside for different reasons. But you still have those people that are so like, this is so bad for you. You should not do this. Like it's gonna make your brain cells do this. It's gonna make you do that. And it's just kind of like you're not seeing it in the medical side of things, which they will never understand that. There's so many ways you can consume it. It's not just smoking. Again, you have the
Mm-hmm.
edibles, you have the topicals for your like the creams that
Right.
you can put on your body. You have homemade edibles that my friend does. You
Right.
have like people that do they have dabs, they have everything, but different things are for different people. It's all a focus, but everybody has to want that. And the people
Right.
that don't understand it are always going to say something about it. And that's just kind of the things that us in this cannabis industry understand. We just kind of ignore it. It's always going to be there. So nothing we can do about it. It's legal.
Right.
So.
Hello. So as far as like you said, like the benefits of a strain or something like that, if you were to, like you said, recommend something, you're looking at how it's chemically made. Does it matter the way that they consume it, the way that it affects your body, or is that truly just like a personal preference? As long as the
It
strain
matters.
itself,
It
you know.
matters because, okay, so like smoking it, you don't get the full effect of what you're looking for. I think you get about, if I'm correct on what my friend told me, I believe you get like 30% of the THC. So you don't get the amount of, you actually get what it says. Like it's never more than that. It's not the full benefit of the THC.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're like cooking it or, you know, put in things, you get like a greater amount. I believe it's like 80% of what you're looking for, because it's the way that it's being cooked or the way that it's being made. But, you know, that's why a lot of people don't get as high when they're smoking, or they feel like they have to continuously smoke because they're only getting like 30% of the THC instead of 100% of it, right?
Well, damn. So,
Yeah. So
so
that's why.
an edible could truly be more potent than, like you said, just lighting it up and hitting the blunt.
Right, because at the same time, you have to know your dosage. And I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, those don't do nothing to me. Or a lot of people are like, they fucked me up. So I think the main thing is starting from the bottom and going up. Like when I started my edible journey, I am like straight edibles. I do smoke it, you know, but it's not as much as I used to. I literally started from the 5 milligram mark and went all the way up. And now I'm at 100 in 3 years. It's a process.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? It's a process, but you feel it based off of what you're looking for, not based off of, oh, I'm just trying to get loaded, you
right.
know, because you do have those for that. But at the same time, it's like you'll always say that you didn't feel anything or you felt too much.
Yes.
So if you want it to be balanced, then that's how you start from, you know, microdosing and then kind of going all the way up. Or if you're going to eat it, like as far as homemade cookies or anything like that, you always want to ask, like, how much is in this? Or what am I consuming? Because sometimes they will overload it. And then if you're just eating a full cookie, again, you're in a position where it's like,
Butt on your ass.
right, and I ate too much. So that's something that we try to do out here. Like we have a lot of different businesses where people will infuse like food, like just regular food. They'll infuse
Right.
bakeries. There, you know, it's different things because people are really like studying this and educating themselves to help people. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so I would say it's a lot more balanced out here than it probably is like in Texas or somewhere where someone's just shipping them in because they're not too sure as far as what's going on. And that's a lot of the reason why a lot of people don't, you know, feel the effects of the medical side of things. So,
Okay, look, because what learned something new today. So, and that, that that's wild. So, hold on, because I look, you threw me, then lost my question.
was
Because
when she
what?
told me that, I was in her class and she was just you know, telling the class everything, and I'm just like, well, that makes so much sense because in that's why a lot of people they'll roll like the real big
Yeah,
ones or like, you know,
yeah.
stuff like that, and it's you're really wasting it because you're getting the exact same effect. It's not anything different besides the fact that you're smoking a bigger blunt or
Yeah, like
joint.
that you're using more weed.
Hmm.
Well, damn. So, because I can say, like you said, I guess me personally, I guess microdosing would be the way to go. But I guess for me, edibles aren't my favorite because of the
Hmm.
delay in effect. You know,
Okay, yeah,
I'm more of a if I smoke it now, I feel it
yeah.
now. Versus if I eat this edible, who knows when it can kick in. And I guess I'm more of an upper person than a downer
Hmm.
person because I'm so productive. I like to giggle. I like to move. I like to be on
Hmm.
the art craft side of things.
Right.
So downers aren't really my thing. Right. I'm
Hmm.
like, but you have people who love edibles, and for
Right.
me, like I just can't get with it because they always. It seems like they always slow me down.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, is that because of the edibles that I'm taking, or is
Hmm.
there a way that you can, like you said, I guess time it to determine when it's gonna kick in?
So if you're just taking edibles, nothing that people go and make in the oven or anything like that. If you're well, I mean they make in the oven, but like not homemade. If
Right,
you're just taking
like a
edibles,
gummy or
yeah,
some.
like a gummy, something, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, there's a difference between because there's sativa indica hybrid, and for you, most to say like if you're wanting something to be up, you would usually look for something that's sativa or, you know, if it's like a one, we have one in ones where they're like CBD plus THC, and a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want CBD, but that really is a beautiful effect because you feel the CBD like the happiness. Like there's
Mhm.
CBG, which is like blissful, so it makes you feel really good, makes you feel happy, you know, all of that. And when you combine that in an edible with a sativa edible, like it's almost like a blissful feeling. Like you can go outside and just feel so great. Like they even have different ones that are labeled. There's this brand called 1906. They're actually in other states as well,
Mhm.
but their brand is like sleep, bliss, love, chill. Then there's like a genius and a go. And so you can mix those. They're like 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. But if you mix them, you can feel bliss and love, or you can feel love and
Just
genius.
love.
Like that's how they're making it. Girl, it's awesome though, because it's like people are really wanting like certain things, and it's like in certain states you can't get that. You know, you can only get like weed or something like that. But like in the legal states, they have all of
So
that,
many,
like edibles.
yeah.
Yeah, like they have gummies, and they'll even have baked goods. Like people sell in concentrated baked goods. You know, they'll put those in stores, and they have a shelf life that lasts long enough for us to sell it. You know, so drinks. I mean, there's so many ways that you can consume it without smoking. And I
Mhm.
think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, or they feel like they get higher by that. But the delay, there's actually nano infused gummies out here where they make them to where nano meaning they hit in 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So instead
Wow.
of it being 30 minutes or an hour, they actually have ones that are for that. So,
Where, right, best friend Tone. This is so intriguing. I know I'm like in class. 'Cause
yeah.
what? Because
Hmm.
I guess, like you said, a lot of the times, especially being in Texas, we have to travel outside for variety. Let's say
Hmm.
that for the greater variety. Like you said, Colorado, Vegas, Arizona,
Hmm.
California. You're taking
Yeah.
a trip. Although Oregon's on my list,
It's
I gotta
beautiful
get up out.
there.
Yeah, I gotta get out there just for be out there with the trees. Um,
Hmm.
so
It's nice.
with that, like you said, there's a lot of variety. But could you clarify, because it seems like even in these non-legal states, things like CBD are becoming more prevalent, or you'll see CBD stores. So what's the difference between having something that's CBD and something that's like THC level?
I mean, CBD is mostly like something that might help for your pain. You're not going to feel the psychoactive part of it, which is the THC. So the psychoactive is what makes you feel high, what makes you feel like it's called THC 9. And a lot of states that are not legal are starting to do that. And it's the same thing. But yeah, so if you don't have that in there, it's just CBD. You're not going to feel anything except just maybe some relaxation in your body. It's all body. But if you have THC in there, then of course you're going to feel high. But if you have both, then it's almost like you have a really nice body high, depending on which CBD you have in there. And then you have the THC to go with it. So, like, again, for sleep, there's CBN, right? And so CBN is like, it's the in flower, which is like weed. It's
Mhm.
something that you see when it's a little bit older. It kind of starts to form a little bit better because it's a heavier type of CBD. It's
Mhm.
something that makes you sleep, like your body needs to relax. So a lot of people will look for that in their edibles to go to sleep. Or if
Mm,
they want to stay up, it's CBG. So we're going to look for sativa CBG
right.
one and
The
ones.
blissful.
Right. And
There we
then the
go.
hybrid's just hybrid, so it would just be CBD, so it's just different things like that, to where you have choices.
Hmm.
It's just more so you have to try them and be open to it, because I
Right.
think a lot of people think CBD is just nothing. And sometimes it is, but if you're actually in pain, or you have headaches, or you have things that are going on, there's so many ways you could actually use CBD
Mm,
too. And I mean, you can, like, there's tinctures you can put in your drink, put under your tongue, stuff
right.
like that, for pain, for anxiety, for depression. It's just that the psychoactive high part is not going to come with that. So,
Mm. So can you elaborate on when you say the psychoactive high part? I guess as far as is because a lot of people feel like if you're quote unquote addicted to getting high, it's a mental thing. It's not something that your body needs. It's all in your head. You can quit at any time. It's all in your head. However, there's clearly body highs and like head highs. So can you clarify on what the difference is between the psychoactive effects and like the physical effects when you're engaging in these activities?
I mean, that kind of goes back to the sativa indica hybrid. So,
Okay.
again, so terpenes is something that is inside of your flower, your tea, your marijuana, whatever you're using. It's something that mostly for
Hmm.
flower. It's what you look for. So you want to look for something that's more higher in percentage. So
Hmm.
let's say I get a flower, I get a testing, and it says 30% THC, 1% terpenes. I already know that I'm just probably going to feel a lot of psychoactive. I'm just going to feel high probably for about 20 minutes,
Mm.
because the terpenes are the main
Low.
thing that matters. Yeah. So if those are low, you're not going to have that long lasting high. It's just literally going to be quick. So it
Yeah.
almost feels like you have to keep
Mm.
smoking. But if you have something to where it's like 3% terps, and then you have like 25, 24% THC, your high is going to be long lasting, meaning like whatever high you're looking for. If you're looking for anxiety, you're looking for depression in those particular strains, whatever the testing says, if that terpene in there is like, there's particular ones, but if there's a certain one in there that's higher than the other ones, you know, that
Mm-hmm.
might be for sativas. That might be something that's going to make you feel happy. It's going to make you feel good. You'll still feel it in your body, but you might feel it here, you know?
Right.
So not so much as far as like a real body high, unless maybe towards the end when it crashes, you know, but with the indica, you know, it's like when you start smoking, you feel good. You feel
Right.
relaxed. You're not trying to go outside. You're chilling. You're watching, you know, like right now I'm watching SWAT or
Right.
something. You know, I watch SWAT, something like that. You know, just relax and kind of just get my mind right. That's what I like to do. I'm an indica
Mm-hmm.
girl, but that's also because I have pain, right? So that's another thing. If you have pain, you're looking for something with pain in it, like the terpenes. So it's all about what your goal is as far as when it comes to cannabis. Like what are you looking for with that? Like what do you want it to do for you? And then that's when, you know, the experts or the bud tenders or the managers is able to help you out as far as, do you want it more psychoactive? Do you want it more as a body high? Are you
Mm-hmm.
just trying to feel good, like chill? Are you trying to be up and go out and run errands? Like that's pretty much what we ask. Those are the questions that we will ask patients, you know, because they want to know, like, you know, they don't want you just give them, oh yeah, that works, and then they go home, it's not an indica, it's a sativa, so they up, you know, it's
Hello.
stuff like that. Yeah, so we just try to like listen. It's all about listening, and then after that just kind of like putting your knowledge towards it, what you can do and what you have available. So
Right. So I guess in states where you have more street pharmacists than dispensaries, what advice would you give to people who are shopping with it within those pharmacies on how to identify a good strain? Or I guess a good strain is the only way I can put that, because I don't want to say bad weed versus good weed, but
yeah.
but I mean, bad weed exists. It definitely does. But I guess if you knew the chemical, breakdown of it, you might just realize that that's just not something that's gonna work for you. You know?
You can smell it. So smells are is terpenes. So when you smell weed, like, oh, that smells good, or oh, that smells piney, or that smells like that, that's the terpenes. So let's say like you go to your street pharmacist and it's purple and it smells super piney. It's just like, oh, it smells like pine sol or something. I don't know, you
Right.
know. That's a sativa. That so yeah, like, oh, I know I'm gonna, you know, something like that. Like I personally cannot do that. So if I smell something that smells like pine, I will not do it because I don't like the taste of it and I don't like the way it makes me feel. It's too like upper.
Yeah,
But if you
I'm
were to
lit.
go and smell that, you would be like, okay, that's gonna be a sativa. It's the smells. Like pine mostly is sativa, right? So if you smell anything that's piney or like, I don't know, it's citrusy or, you know, something like that, that's going to be a sativa hybrid.
Hmm.
But if you smell something that's like gassy or like a little bit like
Like,
gas with soft, like you'll smell it. You'll know
mhm.
because it's like, okay, that smells different. It's normally a hybrid or indica, but indicas are gassy. Like they just gonna smell like straight gas most of the time. And if not,
Like literal
it's just older.
gas,
Yeah. Well,
like pumping in your
like a
car.
skunk. Yeah, yeah, like a skunk. But you know, like it's hard trying to determine that with uh pharmacists on the street,
Right.
you know, because a lot of the times you don't know how it's grown. You don't know what it was made of, what chemicals are in it. You don't know anything, so you're
Hmm.
just buying it. And that's the hardest part, you know, you kind of got to trust your pharmacist on that and what they're bringing in because I know when I was out in in Dallas, I had a pharmacist for since I was 2012. It's the same one all the way through until I left, you know. And
Right.
I had a couple in between that I would that this one that I would you know go to, but outside of that, you know, it was I didn't know nothing until my dad started bringing me stuff, you know, and that was like,
Right.
now that smells different. This ain't what I'm getting out here, you know, and that's
Man,
what
took your first trip to Cali, and you're
you
like,
know.
hold on,
Exactly, Cali's the
this ain't
same way. Now, Cali, that is like straight
yeah.
OG. So it's like a lot of stuff in Oklahoma, like Granddaddy Perp or like Blue Dream or like, you know, the stuff that you heard of back in the day.
Hmm.
That's in Cali and it's always good. But like in Oklahoma, it's always exotic.
Mm.
So it's like runts or,
Yeah.
you know, like gelato, biscotti, something mixed with it. Like it has to be
I
something.
like
That's what people look for. They like that.
mimosas, the bomb. It got all
Mimosa.
the
Hmm. and that's a sativa. And that smell is what you would smell in a. So if you kept like trying to smell something, that's a
Mm.
sativa smell. But if you smelling something that's gassy, you ain't, you gonna want to sleep. You going to sleep. Or you're gonna feel good, you know. It's either one. Like for me, I do both. So I'll do my
Right.
edible and my flower at the same, and I feel great. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
But you could do that too with sativas,
Mm-hmm.
right? You could do sativas and then hold on. Sorry, this thing is calling my brain. Okay. You could do like sativas and then you could do like a sativa gummy and then you
Mm-hmm.
straight, you know, because your high is gonna last longer instead of it just being a flower, right? Because we talked about it just being like 30%. But
Right.
if you take both, your high is like
Like,
lasting, you know,
long.
and then you're also smoking, right? But some people don't like edibles, like you're, you know, a couple people I know. It's the delay or it's too long or it's too long of a
Mm-hmm.
high.
Right.
I
Look,
think that's the other thing.
right. Ready to come down now. When this
Like,
is over.
come on, wake up, you know. So
Oh wow,
you
that's
know,
wild. So so have you ever thought about growing your own strain, or is that a process that you've ever been able to witness where you can shed some light on what that process looks like?
mhm. So at Pura, we actually had our own grow. So I actually got to see a lot of the magic happen. I got to see when it was done, it was dry and putting up. So basically, it's a lot of chemicals that go into that. I don't know the full spill because I never
But
really wanted to
sorry,
learn as
I
much.
don't mean to interrupt, but it is like because I know a lot of people call it like homegrown, so it's not
Mhm.
necessarily like just a plant. There is chemicals
Oh yeah.
in this
Mhm.
weed, like
Well, chemicals for us that we are able to smoke, yes. Chemicals to make the flower grow. Like
oh okay,
they have something,
okay.
yeah, they have something to call Athena, and it's something that allows your nutrients to grow within the flower.
Mm,
Instead of it just being like chemicals, it's to help your nutrients. But
uh,
like it
like
depends on
fertilizer,
who's growing it. Hmm?
like a fertilizer. Like if you were
Hmm.
growing a garden, this is plant food, not
Just like that.
necessarily just
Yeah. I don't want to say chemicals
right.
and throw people off because we're not ingesting like
Right.
anything
I'm like, hold
poisonous.
on.
I think that word is really bad. Let's use something else. So,
Yeah. So plant
fertilizer,
food. Okay.
plant food.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So, like, it's basically like doing your own garden. You just have to learn how to grow it. And then the climate of Oklahoma and Texas is not good for you to, not always good for you to grow outside. I won't say that I haven't seen bad or good outdoor
Mm-hmm.
flower, but I don't prefer to ever smoke that here. It's just not something that I would ever do. If I have a load of indoor that I can just do, that's what I'm going to do. And you know, everybody has their own way of growing, but I do know the process of after the plant is picked, or you know, you trim the plant. I've trimmed plants before. I've cut the buds down, put them up to where they all look fancy and pretty, but I've never grown. However, the process takes like depending on the strain. It's always depending on the strain, but most of the time it's about 2 to 4 weeks.
Really?
And they have
That fast?
rooms. Yeah, there's rooms. Like if you, depending on how big a grow is, some grows have like 16 rooms and they're all growing at one time.
Wow.
So when you cut down, you know, you have trimmers to come and then you can produce however many pounds or however much you have to sell to dispensaries or, you know, yeah. So
Huh.
yeah.
I don't know why I always thought it was like a month's worth of process.
It can be depending on which strain. Like there's GMO is a strain that can grow like I think it almost takes I think they said that takes like 14 weeks.
Mm.
So it just depends on what the strain is. Like so this the starting process can take about 2 to 4 weeks. But depending on how long or you know what the strain is, what the fertilizer is inside of that, that's kind of like when the process takes longer, you know, and then also cutting it down and then curing it, all of that, you know. So it's just really based off of you know your how you're growing and then just also what the strain is. So
But does it essentially start from like planting seeds in some soil and this plant shoots out the ground?
yeah, with your fertilizer, as long as you know how to grow it,
Damn.
and then don't grow it because I am not a planter,
Right.
I am not a
Right.
grower,
Right.
but from me watching the experience at
Mhm.
Pura with my manager, well, basically my boss who was there, you know, I enjoyed seeing him. He loved it. So, you know, it was something that a lot of people do enjoy. You know, it's like a therapy. It's something that, you know, people take pride in, you know, and when you with me being the purchasing manager when I was there, I was able to see the stuff that came in, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and if it wasn't top tier or to the quality standards of what we provided at that dispensary, I would refuse it. I mean, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want it, you know, and that's when, you know, people have to have a bigger wall, or what is it called? They have to have confidence in
Mm-hmm.
their work, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. Just kind of keep going. It's just a that's how it works. It's grow, trim, you know, cure it or whatever, and then you go sell it. And after that, you have to make sales off of it. Make
Mm-hmm.
sure your stuff is actually selling, you know,
Right.
and pricing it right. It's just all like a process, you know. So that's that's kind of like how it goes.
That was up. So people can literally have like, their own gardens where, like I said, if you're using the proper foods. But a lot of times, or now people are like, oh, they're putting chemicals, in the strains, and they're putting bad things in them, which are causing certain side effects. Would you say that that's something that might just be like a misconception about what's going on, or are there ways that you really can put bad chemicals inside of strains?
Also, you do have to have a license to
Of
grow.
course,
So
book.
you do have to have a license to grow. And then you can, when you have your medical card, you are able, I believe, I wish I had, I think I have it on me, but I believe that there's a limit of what you can grow at home, but you cannot sell it. You know what I'm saying? Like you can grow it for personal use.
Uh-huh.
So I just meant to say that. But yeah, they have a lot of rules here. I'm trying to find my card because it's on the back of my card.
Uh-huh.
And I should know this stuff, and I apologize, everybody. But you know, I think it's like, okay, yeah, it says, yeah, you can possess up to 6 mature marijuana plants.
What?
And then
Oh,
you can possess up to 6 seedling plants. So they allow you to do it at home. You just can't, you
so
know, go and
12
sell
plants
it.
in total. So they're saying you can possess 6 full-grown plants and on top of 6 plants in the making.
Hmm.
Well, dang. So in the songs when they say no sticks, no sticks, no seeds, no whatever, say you do get a strain that has seeds in it. Is that like, hey, is that safe for you to smoke? I guess, or is that just like saying, it's just really fresh strain? And then would those be the seeds that you use to replant?
So I'm gonna just tell you right now. I listen. When I used to be in Dallas, I know I'd have seeds and we'd throw them out. Oh, there's seed. You know, we just gotta, you know, ash it on out or whatever. However, if you come into my dispensary and you have seeds in your pound or whatever you're trying to sell me, it's an automatic no. I just can't sell that to my patients, right? Because then you have patients coming in. Well, there were seeds in this, there were seeds in that. You know, it's the type of place Pura was. You expect to walk in and have everything already checked out for you, everything already, you know, made sure it was good before they sell it, before we put it on the floor, right? And so if we ever have anything that comes in with seeds, either we can discount it if we don't know there's seeds in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that, just to make the price
Mm-hmm.
fairer. But if you're bringing in seeds already before I even buy anything, I won't do it because I should not see that. I mean, granted, however, I know that some people like to keep seeds and they're okay with that. That's totally fine. Me personally, I'm not okay with that, you know, because I feel like there's other things you could have used, or maybe, I don't know, maybe the planning could have been better. I'm not too sure,
Right.
you know.
Before it got.
Yes. And before you came to try to sell it to me, I was very, you know, my boss at the time raised us on all the protocols of knowing when to spot certain things that weren't correct. And that means stems,
Okay.
because if there's so many stems in your stuff, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, and then your price has to match, right? So if you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to give me something for $1,000 and you got stem seeds and leaves and all that stuff in it, that's not happening, right? Because it's like that's not polished correctly. You're not even
Mm-hmm.
bringing it to me to present it in a
Ready
way
to sell.
that I would want to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not something I like. I don't like none of that. So I like my weed looking, or the flower looking great, beautiful, shiny, exotic, smells good, looks good. That's what I need. I don't need people to pop open a bud and there's like 3 seeds sitting inside of it. That's and we do that. We will inspect it
Mm-hmm.
before, you know, we buy it. We will pop
Mm-hmm.
open buds, do all of that. And people, you know, they get discouraged, but I mean,
Hey, try her the next time with the next
yeah,
with the plant. That's
exactly.
what's up. That's what's up. So, they talk about team no seats.
Hey, you already know.
So so okay, so if you're out here shopping without as much guidance as a dispensary and you're with your street pharmacist, what
Mhm.
are a few things that you personally would have on your checklist before you say, I'm about to buy this strain from you?
Just make sure it's not brown because I feel like a lot of the times, a lot of these dealers will sell old stuff and say that it's this that za.
Right.
It's that za, this that fire, and you gotta know how that makes you feel. Let's just say like you buy something, you smoke it, and you're like, I don't really like that. There's something in it that's not
Hmm.
it's not equaling with you.
Hmm.
So it's kind of hard to say what to look out for. It's more so based off of the smoker. Like you
Hmm.
particularly, I can sit here and tell you, hey, when you go to your pharmacist or whatever, make sure that it's not brown. Make sure that it at least looks appealing enough to when you roll it and break it down, it's soft. Like it's not hard. It's not
Crunch.
dust. It's not
Yeah.
crunchy. Yeah, like it looks legit, you know. And then your smell, there has to be something, not just a bland old earthy smell that we used to do back in the day when we used to have whatever we didn't care. It's not like that no more.
Right.
And a lot of these people that are pharmacists are getting this from somewhere. So they have connections. Okay, they can get the good stuff,
Right.
so it's just inspecting it and making sure that it's that's something. If you smell it and say, okay, this might be good for something in my body, and then you smoke it and it's not really that great, then okay, let me try something else.
Hmm.
Maybe I didn't like that smell. Remembering things, just stuff like that. That's pretty much all of the advice I can give because it's hard.
Yeah. And
You don't really know.
I believe if you pick a strain and you smoke a blunt and you do not like it, you should be able to go back to your street pharmacist and tell him.
And if
Because
you can't,
you need a new pharmacist. Because I'm even going to every pharmacist I done had, we have a very mutual understanding. If
mm-hmm.
I feel like it don't hit after the first one, I will definitely call you back and be
Yeah,
like, hey.
I'm the same way. That's how it used to be back in Texas. So that's what you have to do though, right?
Yeah,
Because that's how you
you have to advocate.
establish
Good
respect,
relationship.
all that.
Right.
Yeah. So,
And I can say that all of them are truly understanding though. They'll be like, "Oh, for real?" And
hmm
and a lot of times they like the input. They like, "What? This one okay? Like you wouldn't put I sure
yeah.
was, And the next thing you know, it's not even on the menu no more, or
Nope.
they might lower the price just to get it off of them.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Or because sometimes they don't be, engaging in what they buying. So,
Nope.
but if you have some, if like you said, if you have a consistent, or if you're a consistent customer, a lot of them do take your input into consideration. And so I can say I've definitely dealt with some good pharmacists so
hmm
far. I haven't had no problems,
I'm
thankfully.
so glad.
Man, but I also taken my fair share of trips, like you said, to different states to try different things. And like I said, I definitely recommend it because different states offer different things, and a lot of the times, just being there in their environment,
hmm
it's way different than, like you said, being in the non-legal states or the non-recreational states where there's so much stigma and secrecy behind it. So
Right.
it's
So,
just a different
yeah,
experience.
I would say when I first got to Tulsa, the smoke. I don't. I'm not condoning this for anybody. This is just me personally. The driving and smoking. It was way lighter. It was nothing like Texas. People, you looked over somebody doing the same thing. I'm like, okay, this is like Cali. Like it's the same thing.
Yeah, but I
you
went
know.
to Colorado for the first time, and there were people just like walking around on the
Yep.
streets, like this was like bourbon with alcohol. This was Colorado with Mary
hmm
Jane. I was like, is he on is he downtown lighting up? Like what
They
the
do that
hell?
here too.
Like
hmm
there's a police station like 2 blocks that way. Like
And
what?
they just
How is this?
keep driving.
What? And the police was like, "What's up?"
Yeah.
I was like,
So
"What's
here
up?"
you
Like,
literally can smoke wherever tobacco is consumed. Yeah. Anywhere.
And of course, being in Texas, we always know that they're never going to get on this train until they can figure out how to profit from it properly. So yeah, I would say y'all take the trips. Look at other states and take y'all a few trips just because I'm not even gonna tell a story. When we went to Arizona last month, here, that's all we went to go do. We had no absolute plans whatsoever
Hmm.
besides
Yeah,
going to dispensers. That's all we went to do. And we ate
girl.
good and we chilled like
Hmm.
whole time. Whole time.
That's all I
That's
do.
that's all. And it was one of the best trips that I've ever had. The Arizona weather, it was a little hot, but scenery is beautiful. Dry
Mm-hmm.
heat is different than humidity heat. So it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Loved it. I
And
definitely say
that's
take the trip.
awesome because when I tell you, like, people will not travel with me because I only prefer to go places that are legal. Not saying I won't go anywhere that's not. I mean, but I
Right.
prefer to my own money to go somewhere
Yeah.
that's at least legal if it's in this country,
Right.
because I want to have fun. Like, if I'm going to LA, I want to go sit on the beach and smoke. If I'm going to Arizona, again, scenery. You can step
Yep.
outside and smoke,
That's
you
the only
know?
reason I'm trying to go to Oregon. I'm trying to be in the woods with the
That's
woods.
where I was, and it was beautiful. And the person I went to see didn't even smoke like that, but she took me to the sea and did all that because she knew that's what I wanted to do. And it's like when you have that in other places, like the legalist things, it's like you don't really care as far as going out and drinking so much and stuff like that when you enjoy like consuming, because it's like there's
Mhm.
so much other things you can do with that. Especially
Mhm.
Arizona, I'm sure there was a lot of canyon stuff out
And
there, or like Portland, the
I
woods, stuff like that.
practiced that big. I was like, I didn't even know they grew as tall
Oh,
as we saw. Like they were taller than me. I was like, oh my God. We so used to the ones that sit on our shelf. I was like, yo, like this one has like arms. Like this is a body
oh,
in here.
oh.
It was crazy.
Girl,
But
when you
we were
experience,
out
girl,
there
I cried
just
when I went
in
to
the
Denver and
parks.
I was so
It,
high. But
what? And it honestly just changes. Like you said, you'd be out there just blissful. Walking
they'll be like,
around.
"Oh my God, y'all see this?
Like,
You
do y'all
see that?"
do you see it, y'all? Like it is what? It was everything. And they
Oh.
had now one thing I can say is I do think Texas got some of the best food though. Because sometimes food be hit or miss. But it's definitely fun to go experience the legal side of the culture,
Mhm.
and it eases your anxiety or it gives you a different level of relaxation, you know.
Yeah.
What I know. See, look, dang, somebody got
What?
through.
Oh, you good?
So I know that like you said, you no longer work for Pure because we have upgraded what to OSU. But is there anything that we could do to help support you in your journey along? Because I know you said that you did have a lot of pain, and I know you are somebody that's been interested in becoming a yogi. Is that still in the plans for you?
It definitely is. I just can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, make sure. It definitely is. I'm trying to get my body to a point where I can still do that because, like, again, I had knee surgery last year, and I had actually had not a binding tumor sitting up on top of my kneecap, which
Wow.
came from. It just popped up, and there it is. So right now, I'm trying to get that in order, and I was on like the state's benefits because back into that now since I have better benefits and just try to get myself healed.
Hmm. I'm sorry, Crystal. I don't mean
At a
to
dispensary.
second. Can I just get you to pause really quick? It seems like your camera's delayed. I just want to give it a second to catch
Hold
up.
on. How do I pause? Oh.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. I think we're on track.
You think so? Because I can come out and come back in. I don't know. Is it working?
Yeah. Yeah. I got you now. We
Okay.
good. Mic check.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yep. I see you, girl. Yeah.
Okay. Um. but yeah, I definitely want to become a yogi after I get better. And I still am working at a dispensary part time right now. I do compliance. So
Mhm.
I after I left Pura, the my boss there, she taught me a lot. She taught me how to do. Uh, it was, you already know. But she taught me a lot, so I took that to after I left Pura, I took that to another dispensary and was able to kind of utilize my skills there. And then I left that one and went to another one, and now I'm good here because they treat me well. They treat me just like Pura did. They allow me to come in like once or twice a week while I'm working to just try to get things together. So I still am in the industry a little bit, um, but in the outside of things, I wanted to kind of get better benefits and just kind of it's not doing as well as it was when I first got here. I can just say that
Mhm.
much. A lot of the lawmakers and all that, they're trying to make it more strict than it ever has been, and
Of course.
decreasing the amount of dispensaries that there are, the mom and pops. They're
Hmm.
trying to do so much with like managers, making them pharmacists. It's so much that they're trying to do out here that it was just best for me to just kind of not be there full time because it's not something that I can do long term
Right.
anymore here. So, but I still am here. I'm still in it a little bit. I'm still trying to get the knowledge. I'm still trying to figure out, stay up to date with everything. And I'm a patient. So
Mhm.
I want to know more and everything. But I still got big things going.
So would you ever like open your own dispensary?
No, I would never do that. Only because
Look, too many people in my business.
too many
I understand.
people. Yeah, too many people that don't need to be in my business that are like lawmakers. I don't need that.
Yeah, I'm
Also,
like too much of the white man in everybody's business, per
always,
usual.
and it never stops. And it's just not. I don't know. It's the competition's too much out here, and it's just not worrying me. Everybody's kind of going outside of Tulsa and OKC to try to find other places they can be, but again, you're going to small areas that already have established places,
Mhm.
So it's just not really like anything I can do anymore. I've kind of exhausted my resources there, and with Pura, it did, it tragically, things happened to where there was a robbery and, it closed down. So we didn't get a chance to continue there. And if I told myself if things don't happen at Pura anymore, then I'm not going to be able to be anywhere full time. And yeah, after that, that's when I experienced a lot of how racism can be involved in cannabis as well. So I just decided I needed to go ahead and get out of cannabis full time and just try to get some more money and try something else.
Well, yeah, especially, my family's from Tulsa, so I know all too well about how the characters are out there in Oklahoma. And I mean, let's be real, we're talking about the same state that literally lured in a bunch of Indians and said, sorry, Native Americans, and said, this is all we about to give you, take it because you can't leave it, literally.
Yep.
Um, so racism definitely runs through that Red River that they got going through the state.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely applaud you, for taking the risk and being on the non-popular side of things, so to speak. But ultimately, doing it to help people and educate, the masses on what cannabis can actually do for you versus just the way that it, so to speak, makes you feel like it's actually
Mm-hmm.
having health benefits depending on how you use it. And we're the people that can educate you on how to best benefit from, these different strains.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish you nothing but the best of luck on your future endeavors, especially like you said, you're on the come up over at OSU, which is a PWI. So definitely sending you some prayers as you go through your journey over there. Did you have any questions for me?
Um, I mean, how are you feeling? Like, you good over there? I mean, you're doing this beautiful podcast, and I feel like, just watching you grow over the years and the things that you've been through and just the strength that you have. I just always wonder how's today doing?
I can say that it's going. Being a multifaceted creator is balance is probably the hardest part because there's always something new that I'm either teaching myself, learning, or trying to figure out. So I'd have to say that like I said, melanin mic is probably one of the most consistent areas that I have and that I definitely do try to maintain consistency in while I explore new things. But I can say that y'all can always be ready for me to show up and show out in whatever I'm doing because I'm always doing something. However, I do have a summer project coming up, which might allow me to relax a little bit. So I am excited for that. A lot of reading in store for myself this summer. Speaking of Will, I did get your book. I will read that and get those notes back to you as soon as possible. but but yeah, I can say that Melanie Mike's my baby, helping her grow and just trying to see what or where I can go next is always a part of the journey. But I definitely love where I'm at and the platform that I can provide. Tuesdays are one of the best days of the week for me, and yeah, I'm just grateful to be here.
I love that. I'm just so proud of you, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I've been wanting to, so I'm glad I was able to finally, be a part of
Me
everything. I
too.
know it didn't
I'm so
work
proud of you.
out. I was like, and then we
So many
talked
people
about it. I was
are
nervous.
Yes, people would be so nervous, and including myself. It's not easy being on this side of the camera, that's for sure. So I'm always proud of everybody who comes onto the show to join or spark the conversation.
Mhm.
Because a lot of people are strangers to me. Oh, you got your resume. Yeah, a lot of people I know. Look, we've been friends since middle school, right? But a lot of
Yeah.
people are strangers to me, and they're just people who I appreciate their entrepreneurship. I like their business, and we really are on here, sparking conversations about
Mhm.
intellectual things or creative things. So I always am very grateful for my guests who can come on here and speak about what they do, and I thank y'all for, like I said, educating the culture on different areas where we can excel in. We're not just athletes, we're not just rappers. We can do a lot of stuff, y'all, And so I appreciate you for coming on here to let them know not only can you be a street pharmacist, you can be a medical marijuana enthusiast, y'all, where, we're on the legal side of things.
Yeah. I mean, of course, everybody wants to smoke, but hey, if you ever want the medical side of things, hey, come on up to Oklahoma or any other medical state, and you can get what you're looking for, health wise. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, with that being said, next Tuesday, I believe we're officially into the month of March, and we already have us a great guest lined up for the month. I will tap in, I believe, Thursday to let y'all know about our monthly lineup. But don't forget, next Tuesday we'll be back here at 7 p.m. with another guest. Look who went to school with us, Mr. Davon Sneed, aka Dougie, who is a creative director of his own business, and he helps create designs and artwork, for books and publications and all different types of art these days. So, and I'm so proud of him because I remember when we were in Miss Rodriguez computer learning Photoshop. So
Man, I'm
we all come such a long way, and so I'm so proud of all my friends, and we're out here doing great things. And so thank you again, Krystal, for coming to share your talents with
thank
us
you.
because I learned.
Thank you, girl. And I hope you have a great night. And thank you.
Thank you, and thank you all for watching, and we shall see you on next Tuesday. Don't forget the full episode with Krystal will be available on YouTube on Friday, and I'll make sure if you're following Mel and Mike, you'll get all the notifications for when things drop. Oh, and don't forget your merch, guys.
Oh, don't worry. I'm getting mine Friday. I already have my card. So I can't wait.
That's what I'm talking about. And orders go out immediately. They'll be within 2 to 3 business
So
days in the mail.
proud of you today.
Thank you, girl. Y'all have a good night. And thank you so
for
Bye.
watching. See y'all next
Bye.
Tuesday. Peace.